Hello and welcome to this trauma-informed yoga practice focusing on the core. I am Adriana, a trauma-informed yoga instructor and physiotherapist, and I will lead you through today's class. All you will need today is a mat, so you can grab your mat and we'll get started. I invite you to start lying on your back with me, and you can lie in any way that feels comfortable. Can place the feet on the ground with the knees bent or have the legs straight. Taking a moment to breathe deeply into the body so that we can start using the breath to support the core. You can place your hands on your lower stomach if this feels good and try and breathe into here. Feeling as the body rises into the breath. Once you feel like you have the hang of the breath going into your lower stomach, you can bring your arms over to your side body and try and see, can you also get your breath into your side? And if you feel like you're not sure if you're doing it correctly, that's okay. It's really just a practice. And then see if you can get your breath all the way into your back. Allowing this 360-degree movement of the breath to support the core and the spine. And from here, you can place your arms wherever feels comfortable. Of course, my cat decides this moment to start doing her own exercise. And if your legs are straight, I invite you to bend them now, placing your feet on the ground. And from here, keeping your left foot grounded, I invite you to lift the right leg up with the leg bent. And then as you exhale, lower that leg down, and you can march back and forth with the legs. Once again, trying to focus on that breath we just did, that 360-degree breath, marching back and forth. Another option from here would be to place both the legs up and then lower one foot at a time. So you can choose which version feels best for you. Marching or legs up. Doing a few more, warming up the spine and the core. And in your own time, coming onto hands and knees for some cat-cows. Once again, warming up the spine here so you can round through the spine on an exhale. On an inhale, you can lower the stomach to the ground, tailbone goes up. Back and forth at your own speed. Moving the body in the way that feels comfortable for you. Perhaps once again, trying to focus on that full breath. I invite you to come back to a neutral spine, having your shoulders over your wrists, your hips over your knees. Moving into another core exercise here. One option would be to lift one arm at a time. A second option would be to lift one leg at a time. And a third option would be to lift your opposite arm and leg. So if you're lifting your left arm, the right leg goes back. And if you're lifting your right arm, the left leg goes back. So you can choose the variation that is calling to you, knowing each variation is a good variation. Perhaps focusing on keeping that neck nice and long, those big breaths. Doing one more on each side, wherever you are. Coming back down to hands and knees. If there's any movements that are calling to you before we go to standing, feel free to do them now. If not, you can join me in standing. You can get to the top of your mat in standing, however feels comfortable. As you stand, doing a side bend here, reaching the arms up above the head, turning the body or leaning the body to the right. On another breath, coming up to start, leaning the body to the left. If the arms don't feel good up, you can always place them down. Back up to standing. I invite you to flow down to your stomach with me. If you would prefer not to flow, you can meet me on your stomach. If you're joining me in the flow, you can reach the arms up, and as you exhale, lower the arms down. Bring that stomach to the back, floating to the ground. On an inhale, you can rest your hands on your shins, looking down towards your mat. On an exhale, placing the hands down, bringing the legs behind you. Many variations of plank you can choose from here. You can be up on the hands here with the legs up. You can bring the knees down and once again be on the arms. A third variation would be to go on the forearms with the knees down. So choose the version that's calling to you today, focusing here for 3 breaths. Knowing you can stop earlier if you would like. One more in and out. Coming down to the stomach into baby cobra here. So forearms down on the ground, resting with the forearms by your chest. Head goes up. Bit of an arch in the spine here. Well, turning over once again onto your back, moving into one more different shape here today, boat. So really we're not quite lying down yet, we're still sitting. I'll show you many variations of boat here. So the first one would be placing the feet down on the ground, knees are bent. Trying to sit up nice and tall, you can bring the arms in front of you as if you had an imaginary beach ball in between your arms. You hold this shape. A different variation would be to place the hands down, lean back, lift the toes up with the knees bent. A third variation is legs bent, arms up. So once again, choosing whichever one calls to you today, whichever one feels good. 3 breaths here. 2 more. Last breath. You're doing amazing wherever you are. On an exhale, you can let go, come down to your back. We're done with the core focus today, ending the practice with some gentle movements so that we can move from energy into grounding. You can take both your knees to your chest here. Getting a nice gentle hug of the knees, rocking side to side if that calls to you. Maybe doing little circles with the back. Circling one way and then the other. Placing the feet back down, knees are bent, and just bringing the legs side to side, as large or as small as you would like to rock them. Gently getting movement throughout the spine as we end today's practice. And you can finish in whatever resting shape calls to you. keep the knees bent or straighten them. To lie on your side or sit up. And just as we started the practice with some deep breaths, I invite you to do those now. Deep inhale and exhale. Knowing however you showed up today was enough. And thank you so much for practicing with me today. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you next time.